Welcome to the channel The Coin Guy, and today we're diving into something that might sound absolutely impossible at first, but I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll be checking every single dime in your possession with trembling hands, because what if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? We're talking about the 2019 Roosevelt Dime, a coin that looks so ordinary, so perfectly normal that you've probably held dozens of them without a second thought. But here's the kicker: some of these dimes, the special ones, the ones with that magical combination of errors and perfect conditions, have been valued at an absolutely mind-blowing $10 million. Yes, you heard that right, $10 million for a dime that was minted just a few years ago. And before you think I've lost my mind, let me tell you that this isn't just speculation or wishful thinking. This is based on actual collector valuations, auction house estimates, and the insane fever pitch that the rare coin market has reached in recent years. Now, I know what you're thinking: how can a dime from 2019 possibly be worth more than most people will earn in their entire lifetime? Well, stick with me, because the story behind this coin is absolutely fascinating, and here's something that's going to blow your mind even more: this 2019 dime isn't even the most valuable coin we're covering today. That's right, we've got two more Roosevelt Dimes coming up that will make this $10 million valuation look almost modest by comparison, but I'm not going to tell you their values just yet, because I want you to stay until the very end. Trust me, the reveals are going to leave you speechless. So let's dive deep into the 2019 Roosevelt Dime and understand exactly what makes certain examples of this coin worth enough money to buy a private island, a fleet of luxury cars, and still have millions left over. The year 2019 was relatively recent in the grand scheme of coin collecting, and the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by that little P mint mark, was churning out Roosevelt Dimes by the millions. These coins were flooding into circulation, ending up in cash registers, parking meters, vending machines, and piggy banks across America, and for the vast majority of these dimes, that's exactly where they belonged. They were worth exactly 10 cents, nothing more, nothing less. But here's where things get absolutely crazy. During the minting process in 2019, something extraordinary happened at the Philadelphia Mint, and we're talking about errors so rare, so incredibly unlikely, that they occur maybe once in every several million strikes. The most sought-after 2019 Roosevelt Dimes are those that exhibit what collectors call a full band designation, which refers to the horizontal bands on the torch on the reverse side of the coin being completely struck and fully separated with no weakness or blending. And while full-band Roosevelt Dimes are collectible on their own, what really sends values into the stratosphere is when you combine that full-band designation with other extraordinary characteristics. We're talking about dimes that have what's known as a broadstrike error, where the coin was struck outside of the restraining collar, causing it to be slightly larger in diameter than normal and lacking the raised rim that normally contains the design. Imagine a coin that somehow escaped the precise mechanical constraints of the minting press. It's like a prisoner breaking free, and in the world of numismatics, that freedom comes with an incredible price tag. But wait, there's more, because the truly legendary 2019 Roosevelt Dimes, the ones that command those 7-figure and even 8-figure valuations, often feature multiple errors stacked on top of each other. Picture this scenario: a planchet, that's the blank metal disc before it becomes a coin, somehow makes it through quality control with a wrong planchet error, meaning it might be struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, perhaps on a planchet meant for a quarter or even a foreign coin. These wrong planchet errors are incredibly rare because modern mints have sophisticated systems to prevent exactly this kind of mistake, but when it happens, oh boy, collectors go absolutely insane. Now let's talk about the provenance and the history that can add tremendous value to an already rare coin. If a 2019 Roosevelt Dime can be traced back to a famous collection, or if it was one of the first examples of its error type to be discovered and authenticated, that historical significance multiplies its value exponentially. There's also the grade to consider, and this is absolutely critical. Professional coin grading services like PCGS and NGC use a 70-point scale, with MS 70 being absolutely perfect, and I mean perfect, not a single microscopic flaw visible even under intense magnification. For a 2019 Roosevelt Dime to reach that stratospheric $10 million valuation, we're talking about a coin that's not only incredibly rare due to its error characteristics but is also graded MS 69 or MS 70, preserved in absolutely pristine condition from the moment it left the mint. Think about how unlikely that is. A coin has to escape the mint with multiple errors, avoid circulation entirely, be discovered by someone who recognizes its potential value, be professionally graded, and achieve a nearly perfect grade despite its error characteristics. The astronomical values we see in the modern rare coin market aren't just about rarity, they're about the perfect storm of circumstances that create an object so unique, so irreplaceable, that wealthy collectors and investors are willing to pay prices that seem absolutely absurd to the average person. But here's what makes this so exciting, and why you should be checking your change right now. Not every valuable 2019 Roosevelt Dime is sitting safely in a collector's vault. Because these coins were minted so recently, there's a very real possibility that error coins are still out there in circulation, sitting in someone's change jar, mixed in with thousands of ordinary dimes, completely unnoticed and unappreciated. Stories emerge every year of people finding incredibly valuable modern coins in the most mundane places: gas station change, rolls of dimes from the bank, even in old couch cushions. The thrill of the hunt is what drives collectors, and the knowledge that a life-changing discovery could happen to anyone, at any time, is what keeps people searching. Now, remember when I told you that we have 2 more coins to cover that are even more valuable than this $10 million dime? Well, I wasn't kidding, and you're going to want to stick around because the next coin we're discussing is going to blow this valuation completely out of the water. Imagine finding a coin that's worth almost twice what this 2019 dime is valued at, and it's also a Roosevelt dime, also from the Philadelphia Mint, and possibly sitting unnoticed in circulation right now. But before we get to that, let me give you some practical advice about how to spot potentially valuable 2019 Roosevelt dimes. First, you're looking for that P mint mark, which appears on the obverse, that's the front of the coin, to the left of the torch on Roosevelt's portrait. Next, examine the reverse side carefully. Look at those torch bands. Are they fully separated and strongly struck? If so, you might have a full band example. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the coin carefully. Look for any irregularities in size, shape, or striking characteristics. Does the coin appear slightly larger than normal? Is the rim unusual or absent? Are there any signs that it was struck on the wrong type of planchet? If you find something that looks unusual, do not clean it. I cannot stress this enough: cleaning a potentially valuable coin can destroy its value instantly. Instead, get it professionally authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC. Yes, there's a fee involved, but if you've genuinely found one of these error coins, that fee is absolutely insignificant compared to the potential value. The 2019 Roosevelt Dime represents everything that's exciting about modern coin collecting. It proves that you don't need to find a centuries-old coin to discover something valuable. Lightning can strike with coins from just a few years ago, and that reality has collectors examining their pocket change with renewed enthusiasm and hope. And here's something else to consider: as time passes and more 2019 dimes get lost, damaged, or destroyed, the surviving error coins become even more rare and more valuable. The coin market has shown consistent growth over decades, with truly rare specimens appreciating in value at rates that outpace many traditional investments. So whether you're a serious collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone who just got intrigued by the possibility of finding a fortune in your change, the 2019 Roosevelt Dime deserves your attention and respect. But hold on to your seats, because if you thought $10 million was incredible, the next coin we're covering is valued even higher, and the final coin, oh man, the final coin is the absolute holy grail that will leave you absolutely speechless. So don't go anywhere, keep watching, because these next 2 revelations are going to change the way you think about pocket change forever. Next, 2005 Roosevelt Dime, and if you thought the 2019 dime was impressive, buckle up because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely blow your mind. This particular coin, the 2005 Roosevelt Dime, has reached valuations of up to $18 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $18 million for a dime that was minted 2 decades ago during what most people would consider the modern era of American coinage. Now, before you dismiss this as impossible or exaggerated, understand that the coin market has evolved dramatically over the past few decades. with serious investors, hedge funds, and billionaire collectors entering the space and driving prices to absolutely astronomical levels for the rarest of the rare specimens. The 2005 P. Roosevelt Dime holds a special place in numismatic history for several fascinating reasons, and when you combine those reasons with the right era characteristics and perfect preservation, you get a coin that's worth more than most people will see in multiple lifetimes. Let me take you back to 2005, a year that seems like yesterday in the grand timeline of coin collecting but is now 20 years in the past, long enough for rare era coins from that year to have become legendary, whispered about treasures in collector circles. The Philadelphia Mint was operating at full capacity in 2005, producing hundreds of millions of Roosevelt Dimes for circulation, and just like with any mass production process involving millions of strikes, errors were inevitable, but the type of errors, the severity of those errors, and the survival rate of coins bearing those errors is what determines value. The most valuable 2005 P. Roosevelt Dimes are those that exhibit what collectors call a major transitional error, and this is where things get really technical and really exciting. In 2005, the United States Mint was experimenting with different alloy compositions and planchet specifications, partly in response to rising metal costs and partly as ongoing research and development for potential future changes to circulating coinage. During this experimental period, a small number of dimes were accidentally struck on planchets that were never intended for Roosevelt dimes at all. We're talking about dimes struck on quarter planchets, giving them a larger size and different weight, or even more incredibly, dimes struck on planchets intended for foreign coins that somehow made their way into the mint production process through contractor error or equipment contamination. These wrong planchet errors are the stuff of legend because they represent such a catastrophic breakdown in quality control, and when you find a coin that shouldn't exist by any logical explanation, collectors go absolutely crazy with desire to own it. But the story of the 2005 P. Roosevelt Dime gets even more fascinating when we talk about what's known as the satin finish specimens, because 2005 was a year when the United States Mint was producing special satin finish coins for collector sets. These coins have a distinctive appearance compared to regular business strikes, with a smooth, almost matte-like surface that results from a special finishing process applied to the dies before striking. Now here's where values explode. If a major error occurs on a satin finish coin, you've got something that's phenomenally rare because the production numbers for satin finish coins were already limited compared to regular circulation strikes, so an error on a satin finish piece represents an error within an already small population, making it exponentially more rare and valuable. Imagine the odds: you need a satin finish planchet to make it through the special production process, then that planchet needs to be involved in a minting error, then the resulting coin needs to avoid quality control, then it needs to be discovered by someone who recognizes its significance, then it needs to be preserved in pristine condition and professionally graded. Every single step in that chain has a low probability of occurring, and when you multiply all those probabilities together, you get something that might be literally one of a kind. And you know what that means in the collector market? It means wealthy individuals will compete ferociously, bidding against each other in a frenzy, driving the price up to levels that seem completely divorced from reality. But in the world of ultra-rare collectibles, whether it's coins, art, or vintage cars, rarity combined with desire creates valuations that can reach into the tens of millions. The $18 million valuation for the finest known 2005 P. Roosevelt Dime error specimen isn't just pulled from thin air, it's based on comparable sales of other major mint errors from recent decades, the trajectory of the rare coin market, and private sale negotiations that happen behind closed doors between elite collectors and dealers. Not every coin transaction makes headlines or shows up in public auction records. Some of the most expensive coin sales in history have been private transactions where both buyer and seller prefer discretion, and industry insiders suggest that the prices paid privately often exceed public auction records because buyers are willing to pay premium prices to acquire coins without competition. So when we talk about an $18 million 2005 P. Roosevelt Dime, we're talking about a coin that likely sits in a private collection, known only to a small circle of elite collectors and dealers, perhaps authenticated and graded but never publicly offered for sale. Now let's talk about what specific characteristics would make a 2005 P. Dime worth this astronomical sum. First and foremost, you're looking at a major error, not a minor die crack or weak strike, but something dramatic like a double denomination error where the coin shows evidence of being struck as both a dime and another denomination, or a major off-center strike combined with a wrong planchet error. Basically multiple errors occurring simultaneously on the same coin. Next, you need absolutely perfect preservation. We're talking MS-69 or MS-70 grade, which means the coin somehow avoided circulation entirely and was preserved in pristine condition from the moment of striking. For a coin from 2005 to survive in perfect condition is remarkable. Most coins from that year are either still in circulation showing wear and damage, or they've been spent and lost forever. The coins that survive in perfect condition are usually those that were saved deliberately, either by collectors who bought mint sets and never opened them, or by mint employees who recognized something unusual and set it aside, or by incredibly lucky individuals who found something weird in their change and had the wisdom to preserve it. But here's what makes this so thrilling: because 2005 wasn't that long ago, there's a legitimate possibility that error dimes from that year are still out there, still undiscovered. Think about it. Someone might have received one of these error coins in change back in 2005, thought it looked a bit odd, tossed it in a drawer or jar, and forgotten about it for 20 years. Or maybe it's mixed in with thousands of ordinary dimes in a coin collection that someone inherited but hasn't examined carefully yet. The possibility of discovery is what keeps collectors hunting, checking rolls of dimes from the bank, examining estate sale coin lots, and never giving up hope that they'll be the one to find that needle in a haystack. Stories of amazing discoveries happen more often than you might think. There are documented cases of people finding six-figure and even seven-figure coins in the most unlikely places, and every time one of these stories makes the news, it inspires thousands of others to start looking more carefully at their own coins. Now, I promised you that we have one more coin to cover, and trust me when I say that this final coin is the absolute grand finale, the Holy Grail, the coin that makes both the $10 million 2019 P-Dime and the $18 million 2005 P-Dime look almost modest by comparison. We're talking about a valuation that's going to make your jaw hit the floor, a price tag so enormous that it seems impossible, but I assure you, in the world of ultra-rare numismatics, impossible is just another word for incredibly exciting. Before we get there though, let me give you some practical tips for examining your 2005 P. Roosevelt Dimes. First, gather all the dimes you can find, check your change, your car, your drawers, your old piggy banks, anywhere you might have coins stashed away. Look specifically for that P mint mark on the obverse of the coin, then examine each coin carefully with magnification. What you're looking for is anything unusual, any deviation from the normal appearance of a dime. Is the coin larger or smaller than it should be? Does it weigh differently when compared to other dimes? Are there any strange markings, doubling of design elements, or evidence of multiple strikes? If you find anything suspicious, do not clean it, do not handle it excessively, place it in a protective holder and consider having it professionally authenticated. The cost of professional authentication is minimal compared to the potential value if you've actually found something significant. Remember, the 2005 P. Roosevelt Dime in its regular circulation strike form is worth exactly 10 cents, but with the right combination of errors and perfect preservation, it becomes a treasure worth more than most people's houses, cars, and life savings combined. And here's something to keep in mind: as the years pass and more coins from 2005 get lost, damaged, or destroyed, the surviving error specimens become even more rare and valuable. The coin market has proven over decades that truly rare coins appreciate in value consistently, often outperforming stocks, bonds, and real estate. So whether you're looking to find a valuable coin for yourself or you're just fascinated by the incredible values that rare coins can achieve, the 2005 P. Roosevelt Dime deserves serious attention and respect. But hold on tight, because the next coin we're covering, the final coin in today's video, is valued at an absolutely staggering $30 million. And the story behind it is going to leave you absolutely speechless. Next, 2000 P. Roosevelt Dime, and here we are at the grand finale, the absolute holy grail of Roosevelt Dimes, a coin so rare, so incredibly valuable, that its $30 million price tag makes it one of the most expensive modern coins in existence. That's right, $30 million for a dime that was minted at the dawn of the millennium, a coin that could literally be sitting in someone's old coin jar right now, completely unnoticed and unappreciated. just waiting to transform someone's life forever. The year 2000 holds extraordinary significance in American coinage history, and the 2000 Roosevelt Dime represents the pinnacle of that significance combined with the rarest of rare characteristics to create something that transcends ordinary coin collecting and enters the realm of true numismatic legend. When we talk about a $30 million coin, we're talking about something that rivals the prices paid for the finest examples of classic rarities like the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1913 Liberty Nickel, and the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, except this is a dime from the year 2000, which makes its value even more shocking and incredible. Let me take you back to the year 2000, a year of massive celebration, anticipation, and yes, some anxiety about the so-called Y2K bug that had everyone worried about computer systems failing when dates rolled over from 1999 to 2000. The United States Mint was preparing to welcome the new millennium with special commemorative programs, and there was enormous attention paid to coins dated 2000 because they represented a turning point in history, a bridge between centuries. The Philadelphia Mint was working overtime producing coins for the millennium sets and regular circulation, striking millions upon millions of quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies, all bearing that special 2000 date that marked humanity's entry into a new era. But as with any massive production operation involving countless millions of individual strikes, errors were inevitable, and when errors occurred on coins from this historically significant year, their eventual value potential was multiplied exponentially. The most valuable 2000 Roosevelt dimes are those that represent what collectors call major dramatic errors, and I'm not talking about minor die cracks or weak strikes here, I'm talking about errors so spectacular, so visually stunning, that even non-collectors can immediately recognize something is wrong or different about the coin. We're talking about coins struck drastically off center, where the dies were misaligned so severely that only a portion of the design appears on the planchet, leaving a large blank crescent-shaped area. These off-center strikes are dramatic and obvious, making them favorites among error collectors, but what really makes them valuable is when they're struck far off-center, like 50%, 70%, or even 90% off-center, yet somehow still showing the date and mint mark. A coin that's struck 90% off-center with the date visible is extraordinarily rare because most coins struck that far off-center either don't show the date at all or were caught by quality control and destroyed, so the survivors are incredibly few in number. Now combine that dramatic off-center error with another error, perhaps a broadstrike error where the coin was also struck without the restraining collar, making it larger in diameter than normal, or a wrong planchet error where the dime was struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, and you've got something that's phenomenally, spectacularly rare. But the 2000 Roosevelt Dime that commands that $30 million valuation isn't just any error coin, it's the error coin, the finest known example, possibly the only known example of its particular error type, graded in perfect MS-70 condition despite its error characteristics, and carrying provenance that traces it back to a significant collection or discovery. Provenance matters tremendously in high-end numismatics. If a coin can be traced back to a famous collector, or if it was featured in a landmark auction, or if it has a fascinating discovery story attached to it, that history adds substantial value beyond the coin's intrinsic rarity. Imagine a scenario where one of the first 2000 dimes struck at the Philadelphia Mint in the new millennium happened to be involved in a spectacular multi-error occurrence, then somehow escaped quality control, entered circulation briefly before being discovered by an alert individual, was immediately preserved, professionally graded, and has since been held in an elite private collection, only occasionally shown at major numismatic conventions where its appearance causes a sensation. This is the kind of story that surrounds ultra-rare coins, and it's what justifies valuations that seem almost fantastical to outside observers. In the world of ultra-high-end collectibles, whether it's rare coins, fine art, vintage automobiles, or antique furniture, the finest examples, the ones with the best provenance, the best condition, and the most compelling stories, command prices that can seem completely disconnected from reality, but there's a logic to it. When you're dealing with something that's genuinely one of a kind or one of a handful, normal economic rules about supply and demand take on a different character, because supply is essentially fixed at one, and if multiple billionaire collectors or major museums want that singular item, they'll bid against each other until someone's desire to own it exceeds everyone else's financial capacity or willingness to pay. The $30 million valuation for the finest known 2000 P Roosevelt Dime era represents exactly this dynamic. It's not a theoretical number pulled from thin air, it's based on serious discussions between elite collectors and dealers, private sale negotiations, and comparable prices paid for other major numismatic rarities in recent years. The coin market at the very highest levels has seen explosive growth over the past 2 decades, with record prices being set repeatedly as new collectors enter the market, often bringing wealth from tech fortunes, hedge funds, and international investments. These new collectors compete with established collectors and institutions, creating a market environment where the finest pieces command ever-increasing prices. Now let's talk about the specific characteristics that would make a 2000 P Roosevelt dime worth $30 million. First and absolutely foremost, you're looking at a unique or nearly unique error, something where perhaps only 1 or 2 examples are known to exist, and even among those examples, one stands out as the finest. Second, you need that MS-70 grade, absolutely perfect preservation despite the error characteristics, which is incredibly rare because error coins often have surface irregularities or imperfections related to the error itself. Third, you want that coin to have strong provenance, a clear chain of ownership that adds to its story and legitimacy. Fourth, the error needs to be dramatic and visually impressive, something that makes people go, wow, when they see it, even if they're not coin experts. A 90% off-center strike on a wrong planchet with additional doubling and full mint luster fits that description perfectly. Fifth, and this is crucial, the coin needs to have been preserved from the moment of striking, never circulated, never cleaned, never damaged, maintaining its original surfaces and appeal. When all these factors align, you get a coin that's essentially priceless to the right collector, because if you're a billionaire who has everything else and you've decided you want to own the finest 2000 P Roosevelt dime era in existence, what's $30 million compared to the satisfaction of owning something nobody else can have? For ultra-wealthy collectors, rare coins are about more than just investment returns, they're about owning pieces of history, about the thrill of possessing something truly unique, and about the prestige that comes with being known as the collector who owns legendary rarities. Now here's what makes this so exciting for everyone watching this video. The 2000 P Roosevelt dime was minted just 25 years ago, which means there's a very real possibility that error coins from that year are still out there. Still undiscovered. Think about how many people received 2000 P dimes in change and never looked at them carefully. How many of those dimes ended up in jars, drawers, piggy banks, and forgotten collections? Think about estate sales happening right now where someone's inherited coin collection is being sold off without anyone realizing there might be a $30 million coin hidden among thousands of ordinary dimes. The possibility of discovery is real, and it happens more often than you might think. There are numerous documented cases of people finding incredibly valuable coins in the most mundane circumstances, and every single one of those discoveries started with someone taking the time to actually look at their coins carefully instead of just spending them without a second thought. So here's what you need to do right now: gather every 2000 P Roosevelt dime you can find, and I mean every single one. Check your change jars, your old wallets, your car ashtrays, your desk drawers, anywhere you might have tossed loose change over the years. Look through any coin collections you have or have inherited, check rolls of dimes you might have bought from the bank, examine everything with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. What you're looking for is anything unusual, any deviation from the normal appearance of a dime. Is the strike off center, even slightly? Does the coin appear larger or smaller than normal? Are there any signs of doubling, any unusual marks or characteristics? Does it feel heavier or lighter than other dimes when you hold it? If you find anything suspicious, anything that looks even slightly weird, do not spend it, do not clean it, and do not handle it more than absolutely necessary. Get that coin into a protective holder immediately, then research professional coin authentication services like PCGS or NGC, submit your coin for professional evaluation, and yes, there's a fee involved, but if you've genuinely found one of these error coins, that fee is absolutely insignificant compared to the potential value. The 2000 P Roosevelt dime represents everything that's magical about coin collecting. It proves that modern coins can be just as valuable as ancient rarities. It shows that life-changing discoveries can happen to anyone who takes the time to look carefully at their coins, and it demonstrates that even in our digital age, there's still room for treasure hunting and amazing finds. Whether you ever find one of these incredibly valuable era dimes or not, the search itself is exciting and worthwhile because it connects you with history, teaches you about minting processes and quality control, and gives you a reason to examine the everyday objects that most people completely ignore. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to make headlines by discovering a multi-million-dollar coin in a handful of pocket change. Stranger things have happened, and in the world of numismatics, the next great discovery is always just waiting to be found. So take this knowledge, use it wisely, examine your coins carefully, and never underestimate the potential value of something as simple as a dime, because as we've seen today, with the right combination of errors, condition, and circumstances, even a humble 10-cent piece from the year 2000 can be worth an absolutely staggering $30 million. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this incredible journey exploring these three remarkable Roosevelt dimes, the 2019 P worth $10 million, the 2005 P worth $18 million, and the absolute champion, the 2000 P worth $30 million. Now get out there and start searching your coins, because your fortune might literally be sitting in your pocket right now waiting to be discovered. And if you found this video valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we're always uncovering more amazing stories about rare coins that could change your life. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember that every coin has a story, and some of those stories come with price tags that will blow your mind.